corporates that care. And I'm so pleased to tell you that this morning we're joined by the CEO of LottoStar, Taz Haji Giorgio. Taz, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for being part of this campaign. And perhaps as we start this conversation, do tell us why you, as LottoStar, are a corporate that cares.
Good morning, Bongani and listeners. Why we care? Because this country is good to us. That's why we care. It's still home. It doesn't matter where we go in the world. We all come home. And this country, as you said, it's so diverse and so everything. And, I mean, you won't find people like we do in South Africa.
Right.
And you won't find people who care like this.
Philanthropy, the idea of giving back, you say, is a part of LottoStar's DNA.
100%. Our way of thinking about it, it's not an obligation. For us, it's a privilege. And, I can only thank our players and my teams and everyone around me, because without that, we couldn't give back. And this is part of our DNA. And also, gaming always has a bad reputation. But there's also the good side of it, and there's also the good of giving back. So, I'm trying to change the perception of things. Let's put it that way as well.
Because it is also, of course, about taking a chance, is it not? I mean, that's the central idea of gaming. But what you do as LottoStar is you take a chance on a number of NPOs that you work with. Tell me about your initiatives involving Jumping Kids.
Jumping Kids. Oh, this is one hell of an initiative, actually. It's run by a guy called Michael Stevens. He's a double amputee. And what this does is it provides access to lower limb amputees, but it provides prosthetics, and especially to children in disadvantaged communities. And they have designed, and they have basically as young as 7 months old, they can fit in one day. They can fit a socket or prosthetics for that little one to be able to learn how to walk. So when it reaches its milestone of nearly a year to walk, it doesn't see any barrier. That's what it knows. That's what the child knows, and gets it into mainstream much faster than anything else, because at the moment you can wait 3 to 5 years in the system to even see a doctor to get a prosthesis, and that's very much archaic, the way they still do it, the old plaster Paris thing and everything. But what they do at Jumping Kids is try and mobile kids very early on, to get them into the mainstream.
Yeah.
And obviously changes the whole life of this kid, as well as their parents and their family unit, because that child will never be looked at as a disabled person. That child can walk, and that child can go to school, and that child doesn't need a disability equipment to get into mainstream. So what we're trying to do is give them no barriers, and they can do things that able children can do. I mean, they get involved with sports. They can ride a bike. It's unbelievable how it changes the perception, someone's life, a whole family unit's life going forward.
And it must be absolutely heartwarming, because you're a successful, well-known gaming brand. It would be easy to sign a check and say, there you go, there's our CSI contribution. But to actually watch these little lives change before your eyes. I understand some of the kids have even ended up as part of the Paralympics. Yeah,
they have. It's unbelievable. They have, and it's we can only be proud of them. South Africa has to be proud of kids like this that actually end up in there, and we want to do this more. And we never do a cause. I always am very stickly in the sense of I want to see a result. I just, like you said, I don't want to write a check. And I want to see the end product. I want to see that something has happened. And I'm quite strict on that. I mean, this NPO has 180 kids in its cycle, because as you must recall, like a child in a year grows, so they need a new socket every time they grow. It's like wearing school shoes. Once you outgrow your school shoe, you need a new one. So this is an ongoing thing, and they keep them in the system, and they try and do sports with them and put them into the education system much earlier and it's a whole rounded solution, basically, so that child doesn't have to come up in this world feeling like it cannot even compete, even at a walking stage.
And I love that their efforts. So I was going to say, I love that their efforts recognize, as you say, this whole of life approach. In other words, that the child has different stages through which they still need assistance. It's not, here's one now, off you go. What's your challenge to other corporates to join initiatives like this and be corporates that care?
We have to make a dent somewhere. There's just, I've stopped looking at bad news. And yes, it's always there, and there will always be bad news, and there will always be corruption. By the way, we're not the only country with corruption, many others. But we've got to start looking at something that we can put our head on our pillow at night and say, I've tried to do something. If it worked or it didn't work, it doesn't matter. The point is that you know what you have done. And other corporates, unfortunately, it is going to be, they have to get involved. They have to see something through in South Africa. Our history is long, we can blame everyone down the line, but at the end of the day, there are beautiful corporates that are making lots of money in South Africa, and they can assist, they can do things, they can give back. And there are a lot of corporates that do this, and my hat off to them. We're all just trying to dent something.
We're all in it together.
Trying.
Yeah, we're all in it together, and that's why we believe in the idea of walking the talk. Appreciate your time, CEO of LottoStar there, Taz Haji Giorgio, talking about their initiative as LottoStar, another installment of corporates